Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session. In today's webinar, we are going to learn how MSMEs can move towards the loan approval and the common mistakes they've been making that are leading to the rejection. So, this is a topic highlighting the problem many businesses are dealing with and understanding how to rectify the mistakes in the early stages can help them approach their next application in a better way. So today with us we have Indumati, a finance and legal expert, bringing over 2 decades of experience working with MSMEs, startups, and corporates. She brings a great insight into how lenders evaluate the businesses and what goes into a successful loan application. So with that, I'll hand it over to the expert to take us through the session. Indu, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Vasundra, for such a welcoming speech. And now let's go directly to the topic. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining this session. So today we are going to see about something very, very important and real: loan rejection. And usse bhi important, how you can move from not eligible to approved. So that's what we are going to see today. Yeah. So the reality check which you all must know which exists is loan rejected, low CIBIL, not eligible, insufficient document. ये सब बहुत common है. You are not alone in this. You would have faced this. If you have faced this, just think this. You are not alone. There are quite a lot of people who are there with you who have faced the same issues. So that's what we are going to see if this is the problem which you have faced. So what we are going to see is why so, why the banks does not approve your loan, why do they reject? Banks always follow a system. They assess your risk, not your effort. प्रॉब्लम बिजनेस में नहीं, पेपर पे कैसी दिखती है. Problem is never on your business. Problem is how it appears on the paper. How does it look? That is exactly what the banks see. So what are the common reasons the loans get rejected? Poor financial records, low credit history, and in some cases, no credit history, cash-based transactions, income not aligned with loan, compliance gaps, which includes all your GST filings as well as the ITRs. These are the common reasons for rejection. We should first understand one thing. What do the banks fund? They don't fund your potential. They actually fund the proof. What they can see in the hands as proof. They fund only that. They don't fund your potential. You may have good potential. You may have a very good business, which is very common. But they need to see the proof. That proof grants you loan. So if you need to understand this, you need to understand the 5 pillars of loan approval. So what are these 5 pillars or 5 C's of loan approval? Character, capacity, capital, collateral, and compliance. Let's go one by one and see this in a bit detailed way. So when I say character, here for the banks, character means credit worthiness. What's your CIBIL score? This is the first things banks will check. If your CIBIL score is more than 700, then you don't have to worry much about your character. Repayment history. So when I say repayment history, you need to think about check bounces, EMIs, whether everything paid on time. All this comes under the character. And are there any existing loan? How are you paying the existing loan? And with that existing loan, will you be able to pay for this new loan too? These are some things which bank check when they check for the character. Your character or credit worthiness shows your financial discipline. Capacity. Do you have the repayment ability? Do you have the income or profit to service the EMI? How is the cash flow in the business? Is it cyclical? Cyclical is not a problem as such, but is it cyclical? Totally, you don't have anything during the period, but you have provided only the bank statement of that period. Then it becomes a problem. So your cash flow, is it regular? If it is cyclical, provide the bank statement where you have both sides, where you have huge cash flow as well as minimal cash flow if your business is cyclical. Bank statements. These show to the bank whether you can repay. Give you loan, first they have to check the character or credit worthiness. Next, they need to check the capacity, whether you have the ability to pay or service the loan. The very important thing next they check is capital. Your skin in the game. Is there, have you done your own investment? That's very important. Your own investment. How much are you more invested in the business? Business stability is there. Basically, what here they want to know is, आपका skin in the game है या नहीं? Or you invested in your business? That's exactly what they are trying to see here. Collateral. Now, collateral generally reduces the lender risk, but even without collateral, approval is possible if you have other C's very strong. Next C is our final C, but very important for the banks. Compliance. Do you file GST returns regularly? Do you pay the GST amount on time? Have you filed your income tax returns? Have you registered yourself? This registrations, GST return and IT return shows the business legitimacy. So they see this C also. So when it comes to registration, one point for all MSMEs is, if you have registered yourself under Udyam, it's well and good. If you have not registered under Udyam, please register yourself under Udyam. Okay, so that helps you to opens up a lot of areas for you. There are a lot of loan avenues and schemes which are especially available to MSMEs. You can check out all the details of these schemes and how to do the registration in the irisperi.app too. Okay, now coming back to this, so one of the very good news which you have to see here is your eligibility is not fixed. You can build it. ये वेट करने की चीज नहीं है, build करने की चीज है. You can build it yourself. Now the question is, so how do we improve it? Yeah, bank has rejected it. So how do I improve it? So the very important thing is this MSME loan playbook. Remember this whenever you're applying to any bank or approaching or any NBFC for loans. This is our playbook, which you should be very clear about before applying to any loan. So first thing you will require here is all the 5C. For addressing 5C, again, you require this: clean financials, fix the credit, structure your business, your loan file, and the right type of loan. So let's go one by one and see. First, clean financials. Your financials should be clean. So when I say clean your financial, it doesn't mean window dressing. What really it means is, see, most of the businesses, that too if you are starting, you would have seen very typical scenarios. Personal and business accounts are maintained in the same savings bank account or current account. You don't separate your personal account and business account separately. It's a very common mistake. So the first point is to separate your personal account and a business account. You should have a separate bank account for your business, even if you are a sole proprietor. There are extreme cases where you may be a partner also, but still you will be using your partner or a LLP designated partner, still using your personal account for business transactions, either to receive money, because it is easy. Somebody knows your phone number and they just transfer the money to your GPay number or BIM number and whatsoever it is. So that distinction must be there. You should have a separate personal account and a separate business account, and maintain your accounts properly. Show consistent turnover. That's very important. Showing is actually very important. In your bank statement should reflect that you have such a turnover. Otherwise, how everybody will know that they can finance this business unless you show the consistent turnover? So this is very important. Maintain a proper account and show your turnover in that business. Fixing your credit profile. Check your CIBIL score. Even before you start approaching for loan, if you're planning for a loan, 6 months before you want to apply for the loan, check your credit profile. The first step will be to check your CIBIL score. How is your CIBIL score? Are there overdue loans? These two are very, very important even before you apply for the loan. Plan when you want to take for the loan. When you have planned, you are going to take a loan. For example, in the month of September or October for your Diwali sales or anything. In that case, plan now itself. In the month of April, you need to first check your CIBIL score. What is your current CIBIL score? Do you have any overdue loan, or there any check bounce cases? Why did it happen? How am I going to fix it? Fix all this even before you approach a bank or a NBFC or an agent for a loan. Check all this. Next important thing is avoid multiple applications. Multiple applications sometimes happen with your knowledge, and it also happens without your knowledge. Both the ways. Sometimes when you go to a bank, you yourself ask the bank, agreed, and sometimes you go and then give your requirement of loan to a consultant or to a CA, and they go and give the same thing to the DSAs or direct selling agent, who give it to the different banks. So multiple applications are there. The multiple application is a deterrent for the loan process. It's not smart. It is actually deterrent for the loan process. So fix your credit profile. Next is structuring of the business. Whatever your business is, see, even you can have a proprietorship, not a problem, because there are a lot of proprietors who earn do a very good business with the proprietorship. So nothing is wrong with proprietorship also. Even if you are a proprietorship, you can register your business under Udyam. You can have a separate bank account for your business and process your business transaction separately through that account. So first register your business. In case if you are a person, one who is covered under the GST, file your GSTs regularly on time. Very important. Compliance have to be done on time. There is no shortcut in that. See how the banks look, the compliance labs or the NBFCs looks, the compliance labs is very important. What they see is, they don't see that it's just 1 day delay. What they see is, for a compliance, which is very important from the point of view of the government, if that GST is delayed by 1 day, then what will they do for an EMI? They may not pay me consistently. Maybe 1 month they will pay, 1 month they will not. So filing of your GST on time and making payments towards the GST on time is very, very important. If they are evaluating your business, file the ITRs consistently. Like 1 year you file the ITR, another year you forget about filing, you file after 2 months. It doesn't work like that. Your compliance must be consistent. Your structure must be there before you apply for your GST. Yeah, 1 second. Purpose of the loan. So what's the purpose? Why do you have the loan? Is it a term loan or a working loan? Yeah, 1 second, just a second. Am I audible? Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Is it visible now? Okay. So file your IT consistently. Now, purpose of loan is very important. What is the purpose you are applying for this loan? Is it working capital, or are you planning to buy some machinery? So the purpose of the loan is very important when you apply for a loan. Next, depending upon the purpose of the loan, you need to choose the right loan. So whether you require a working capital loan or a term loan. So when it is a working capital loan, you you go for just a OD credit, or from bank you will look for certain things, and you can go for term loan also when you are looking for a fixed asset purchase which is going to help your business to grow. So depending upon that, you need to choose whether it is a term loan or a working capital loan. Do you require money to pay for the salaries, or do you require the money to purchase the machinery? So that answers the question of whether it is working capital loan or a term loan. So next is about whether should I go for government scheme. There are so many schemes. CGT, MSE is there, PME, Mudra. Should I go for any of these government related schemes or bank loan? Again, that depends upon your business and your business requirement. So there are cases for Mudra. There are many small loans where Mudra can really help. And somewhere CGT, MSE also can help if you don't have a collateral. So if you choose a right product, you have a good approval chances. So choosing depends totally on your business only, on what business and what is the purpose you require. So accordingly, fine tune which government scheme or the bank loan can help you. So let's see. See, these are the things which you should correct before even going to apply for the loan. 6 months before you need to correct all of this. So let's see few of the case studies. I mean, what we have seen clearly. Okay. So here, first case study is this is a clear case of where it was rejected earlier and then we got it approved. It's a clear case study, and here the character, that's what the bank sees. CIBIL score was somewhere around 648. Is a retail trader. CIBIL score was 648. See, one thing also we should understand, for most of the MSMEs, your personal CIBIL score is very much seen. Like, who is behind it? What is their personal CIBIL score? It's not only your company or partners financials, it is also the person behind it. What is their CIBIL score is also seen. And I think you will know it by now if you have applied for the loans. So your CIBIL score, so the CIBIL score here was 648. And DPD, like, have they paid payment due? Have they paid on time or after the due date? So here for DPD was like, there was a this particular case 30 to 60-day delay was there in this case, and there was also a check bounce during this period when they tried to apply, and income cannot be trusted. The more specifically in this case, it happened that it was not consistent. The income is not consistent over a period of month. And why the income was not consistent? It was actually consistent, but when you look at the paper, it was not consistent. Why so? Because they had, as usual, cash payments. And the banks see that as a high risk profile case because there is a check bounce. The payment is after due date, after around 45 days or 46 days, they have made the payment the last month, and then CIBIL score was also less. So with all these cases, the loan was rejected. So there was a time gap, 6 months time period. You can apply for a new loan depending upon what your requirement is and what was the failure rate. You can apply for a new loan from 3 to 6 months. You can apply. It depends again on situation to situation and business to business. So 3 to 6 months you can go for reapplication. So we went for the reapplication in this case also. What actually changed here is, first thing, we made the changes, no DPDs. That is, EMIs must be paid on time. Hook or crook, pay the EMI on time. First thing. Whatever is the dues has to be cleared. The DPD was zero for 6 months. It was totally zero for 6 months. And they didn't make any new loan inquiry during this 6 months. Because every inquiry is recorded. Every loan inquiry is recorded. They can get the data of where and all you have inquired for this loan. So no new inquiry for 6 months. When you make every new inquiry, it just adds up, and they see that as you are a credit hungry person. So be very, very cautious about any new inquiry. And even if you are submitting for a loan approval process through an agent, ensure that your agent doesn't send the same project report or loan approval to 5 different bankers. It doesn't help you. It may sound smart, but it doesn't help you. So now, after we made these changes, what happened is CIBIL increased. CIBIL is first thing every bank checks. CIBIL of the person increased to 705. 705. Now clean track because they have made the payment properly for 6 months. So what the banks see here is a stable repayment behavior. They have been paying properly. So if you need to service the loan, then you should have an income. You show that also in the bank statement. So when you make a delay in payment of EMI, definitely it affects your loans chances, your future loans chances. Delay भी signal देता है. So once you change that, then your character improves, your CIBIL improves, your capacity will also improve. So loan approval we got for this client for around 10 lakh. Okay, so this is something you need to understand. So credit discipline builds lender confidence, even when capacity is moderate. So here also capacity was moderate, but then there was a discipline in the payment. So when you have a discipline in the payment, then it gives credential for the bank to approve your loans. Now let's go to the second case study. So this was a service-based business, HR service-based business. So here also we had the same character problem where CIBIL 690. See, to be very frank, CIBIL 690 is not too bad. But the major problem which happened here is multiple credit inquiries. They have asked for the credit inquiry in a matter of 20 days to 7 different banks and NBFCs. They have asked and approached for the credit requirement or the loan requirement. So 15 lakhs loan they wanted, and they have asked around 7 vendors, 7 banks and NBFCs. Now again, there was multiple applications too. It's not only query, it's also application backed by application. So application also through different channels. So one through directly, one through the DSCS or direct selling agent, one through professionals. So again, multiple applications through different channel they have done this application. So overall, how the system sees them or flags them as they are very credit hungry, and there is duplication. The same bank has been approached twice for the same loan. So automatically banks reject it 2 times if it has come. So that's how it was seen, credit hungry and dedupe. When you do lot of application, it is seen as very risky. Multiple application is risky. Zyada apply is equal to risky signal. Okay, so what actually changed? So in this case also we have suggested for certain changes. First thing we said them is stop all your parallel applications. So you have to wait for a cooling period, at least 60 days. Here we were able to get it within 3 months. So you require a cooling period at least of 60 days and apply only through a single channel. Not through every channel. And submit a structured loan file, which is the next point which you are going to see also. Another case study where we are going to see is about the structured loan file. Structured loan file is very, very important in order to approve the loan. It shows everything. It shows about your profile. Why do you require the loan? A structured loan file will show who are you? Why do you require the loan? Is your financial sound? And what is your plan with the loan money? Everything is there in your project report or in a loan file. So everything here is important. Now, after this changes, what happened is they got a stable profile. It was a very good business. To be very frank with you, this was a very good business where the repayment should not have been a problem at all. But just because of that multiple credit inquiries, it has to get rejected. So stable profile, and there were no inquiries spikes during the 2-month period, and there was an application trail, like who is applying to which bank, when are they going to apply, and what are the details submitted. So with this, they were able to get their loans approved. 13 lakh was the loan approval amount. Now, this case clearly says you that Process discipline is very important. That builds the lender confidence. Even if your credit profile is average, yet business didn't change at all. There was no change in the business. See, even in the first case or in the second case, business didn't change at all. The only change which happened is how did you present your business, how your business looks for your banker to approve the loan. That exactly is something which changed. Whether in case study 1 or 2, you can see in both the cases the business didn't change. Certain practices, yes, has to be changed, like your multiple application has to be changed. If you're having more cash transactions which you are not able to show in your bank statement, that has to change, because bankers need to see that you are able to repay that amount from the bank statement. So those changes have to be done, but otherwise you don't have to make any change in your business to get the loan. Only certain habits or process disciplines, certain disciplines have to be brought forward. That's all. So even here, if you see, the credit profile is average. It's not a bad case. It's a credit profile is an average case. So here it builds the lender's confidence to trust your business. Next, let's see this particular case. This is a manufacturing unit. Actually, it's a food processing unit also. So here 20 lakh loan was required. Now, this again was initially rejected. The major reason it was rejected is first is CIBIL score. The next problem, which I think will be common to most of the MSMEs who are in certain sectors, income is not clearly visible because your bank statement does not show cash. You receive cash, but the bank statement does not show cash transactions. You had mixed the transactions. You have cash heavy transactions. So when you have cash heavy transactions, of course, income will not be clearly visible. So, and again, there was no structured financials, there were no projections. So overall, the business was very viable business, but the banks could not see the viability of the business on paper. The paper just show what has been received in the bank account. It does not show all the cash transactions. Okay, the cash transaction needs to be seen. So that was the major problem here. CIBIL score was again average. So here also again multiple applications they have done. So here when we try to improve the mixed transaction, but as you know, it takes time. The mixed transactions changing from cash to bank in a certain sort of businesses is not going to happen within 2 months or 3 months. Slightly, slowly it will start improving, even if it not in full. So here also we did the same thing. Parallel applications through multiple channels. That is something which you have to stop. That's the first one. You have to wait for cooling period. Here required a little bit urgently, so you have to wait for the cooling period. 60 days. Apply only through single channel. Submit a structured loan file. So here it was a cash heavy business. It was slightly harder to bring or make the income visible, which we were able to offset by giving a structured loan file. Okay, where it shows the proper profit of the company rather than showing only the bank statement, which does not show all the transactions. So somewhere we were able to offset that. After that, the end result was there is a stable profile and there was no inquiry spikes. They have again a good application trail. There was no dedupe, that is multiple applications should not be there. So that was not there. And so with all this, they were able to get an approval, loan approval of around 18 lakh. So it is not enough. Earn karna enough nahi hai, dikhna bhi chahiye. So that's very important. In any of the bank loan application, that is something you should remember. It is not enough to just earn, but it must be visible and it must be documented. Okay, we are living in such a world only where banks see that yes, you are earning the income in your bank statement, then you become easy to finance, financial viability, or they see the capability that you will be able to repay the loan. Capacity must not just exist, it must always be visible and documented. Very important for banks. So remember this always. Eligibility is something you build. This is not something you wait for. Okay, this is something which you all should remember. So what are the common mistakes which happens when you apply for a bank loan? First thing, you apply to multiple banks blindly. This is very common. First, you may have an account with bank. You go there casually and then approach about the loan, and the banker asks for certain details, you provide it. That is considered as a first application, though you may not feel so. If the banker has taken it seriously, it may be taken as a first application. You see that you are not getting the loan from that banker. Most of the MSMEs, if you see, they have two banks at least where they would have already approached the two banks for loans. The next stage, you come to a chartered accountant or a consultant and say that you want a loan. If they are a person who approaches the bank one by one separately, then it's fine. But if they move through the DSAs, or you yourself go and give it to a direct selling agents, then they will submit this application to banks. Now, what happens if they also submit the application to the same bank you have applied for? Rejection. It's marked in the system because it is a duplicate application there in the same bank. And then every such application is considered as a credit inquiry. It increases it shows in the system that you are credit hungry. You want credit immediately. That is the first mistake. Next is inflating income. You want some loan money and you say that I will get this much income. But there is no, see, when the banks see, they won't even see, like they don't see just the future profit. They also see the past profit and check whether the present profit or the future profit you are showing is in line with your past profit. So your inflating income in future suddenly is not going to give you loans. Next thing is you should be clear as to what purpose you are taking that loan. Why do you want the loan? Do you want this loan for working capital? Or are you planning to do something like a buying of an asset? If you are going to buy some asset, what is your ROI? So that clarity you need to have. You cannot take a loan and then decide on what you're going to do with the loan money. If your approach is like that, definitely you won't be getting a loan. You should have a clarity on the purpose of the loan. Why do you require this loan? Next, the very common problem is last minute documentation. You go to a bank, you apply for the loan, and the bank says that we need a project report or CMA report. And the last minute, you come and approach a person, get one report, submit it. So these are very common mistakes you will find when you apply for a loan account. One thing which you should remember about any loan is, or loan application is, even before you go with the loan application, rejections will happen. Okay, so that is something you need to work on. Most of you would have planned for a huge purchase during Deepavali or whatever functions which happen in September or October, then this will be the right time for you to improve your credit profiles. If you start from now, you have more chances of getting loan in the September or October as a working capital loan. If you are going to approach the bank, this will be the right time to check and correct all the 5 C's before you apply. one thing you should understand in the whole loan process is any rejections which you get from banks, take it as a feedback. It is actually not rejecting your business. They are not saying your business is not good. They are seeing what is there in the bank statement, and according to that, or what is there in the proof, and according to that, they are giving the rejection. So it is a feedback to you to improve your situation. Banks work on the basis of structured data. So depending upon why your loan was rejected, or how you can become eligible in 3 to 6 months, you can again apply for the loan and get the money. So never think as to loan क्यों reject हुआ. Always ask the question of मेरा profile कैसा दिखता है. So you will be able to fill that gap. So any questions, Basundra?
Yes, Indu, we did get quite a few questions.
Okay.
So thank you, first of all, for this insightful session. Thank you for making us understand that business itself is not for the loan approvals. We need to check how about our credit behavior, about the compliance, and how we are approaching the overall application process. So these can be worked on and improved over time as well. Yes.
Yes, nicely
So let's
summarized.
Yeah. So let's get into a few of the questions.
Right.
So Mr. Kishore Kumar has asked us, saying our firm is having CMA 2 and the directors and shareholders are having 740 plus CIBIL, even though
Okay.
the loan not is not approving just because of heavy fluctuation in the turnover. So being a
Here,
startup firm, maintaining a firm without zero financial support, and if we don't get a loan, how can we expand or improve our turnover?
see, one thing in case of the fluctuating profit is you need to be able to, your project report need to be strong there, where you should be able to explain why you are getting such a fluctuation in the income. If your project report is strong there, then your probability will increase. For this particular case of fluctuating business, that is something which you have to improve on. So your CIBIL may be great. You are, see, you need to prove your capability that you are able to repay the money. So how do you prove your capability? So for that, project report is very important here, and how you show your business, how you are going to service that particular loan, and how much is the loan amount. So it all depends upon that.
Yeah, he also asked what are the basic things required for MSME loans?
MSME loans, I think he may be asking for schemes, CGT, MSE, or the related schemes. So for all of this, the very basic things about, if I assume that you are a company, sir. So if you are a company, you require all the details of POI, POR of all the director. And since it is a startup, as you mentioned, it is a startup. So if you are a startup, every qualification of the directors matter here. How they are going to add value to your company, that also matters. So if you are having a good director profile, that is good. And then a good project report or a loan report which need to be submitted along with that. If you have previous, see, if your company is having IT returns filed, all that IT returns as well as the GST returns. If you IT return will have to be attached with your project summary itself, like when you have to give it as a proof to the bank. So that's very important. And they also check your GST filings. Is your filing on time? Have you been compliant with GST filings? And have you made the payments of GST on time? This will also be checked, sir.
Okay. Okay. One common question we got is how to get a business loan or an MSME loan, like where to start.
Uh, First, everybody will have a banker. Okay, one thing is you can check with the banker casually whether they process. If you're looking for schemes, scheme related loans, you can check all the scheme related details in the irisperi.app also. It has all the schemes which are related to MSME, where they will do the scheme matching. You can use the facility for scheme matching in the Peridot. And actually, we also quite use that for scheme matching. For certain industries, we use Peridot. So you can use that for scheme matching. And according to the scheme, you can apply to the loans. And it depends again on type of loan. If you are having invoices, IRIS itself will be able to provide you. Okay, so IRIS itself will be able to provide you for certain businesses. So you can check that area also, where we give IRIS gives loans. You can check the option of IRIS also in here. And another thing is, your bank will be the right person to do this. And apart from that, there are a lot of consultants also who can do it. But starting point will be to check which loans you are eligible, or which schemes are most better to your business. Check that in the IRIS and see casually with your banker whether they are providing loans under that scheme. If so, what are the details they require? You can get the details from them and then start application first with them. So in case if your loan is not getting approved with them, you can go to the consultant. But when you go to a consultant, be clear and say to them, you have approached this bank already and the bank has rejected the loan. You should be very frank and open there. Otherwise, it may happen to be a case of dedupe. They also may go to the same banker and ask for it. And again, the chances of rejections will become more. So be careful with that.
Okay, I would also like to add on that about how they can check out Iris Peridot now for the collateral-free loans options. They can check, they can access up to 75 lakhs through Iris Peridot now. We have RBI registered lenders, and they can apply to multiple lenders through a single application, saving so much time for them. So please check out Iris Peridot.
Good. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, yeah, we can go ahead, wrap it up.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, anything from your side? Yeah. You are able to see my screen, Vasundhara?
No, 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 we are not.
Yeah, now, so these are something. So since Vasundhara said about Iris Peridot, so these are certain things. When you download the Iris Peridot app, you can check about the business loan. So collateral free business loans are available up to 75 lakh. This is what exactly Vasundhara has said. And then about the registration hub, we have a in the Iris Peridot app, you have what are the essential business registration which you will required or explained very clearly and simply in this. And smart schemes are also available, which actually they according to your profile, matchmaking will happen and it will show you what are the schemes which are applicable to you. And this helps you when you go to a bank. You can check with them whether you can apply through Mudra, or you can use CGT MSME. So for if you choose the smart scheme and give all the data, it helps you to select there. Of course, you can use MSME TV, vendor compliance, and simple invoicing too. The invoicing facilities are very, very useful for GST compliance. So it helps you there too. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much for all of you to come up with your nice queries and then sharing your time with us. Thank you, Vasundhara.
Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us today. We hope this session was helpful to you and has given a clear direction for your next step. Thank you so much. Have a great day.